Are we set?
We're good.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Piece of Us podcast. Wait, I want to do that again. My voice is like, ah.
I was gonna say, do you guys have like an intro?
Yeah, we have a little.
Oh, we're leaving that in.
Okay, no, we're doing that again.
Oh, we're leaving that in.
All right. Welcome to Piece of Us podcast. We're so excited. This is our second episode.
Welcome.
And we are joined by
Alex.
Hey,
and Savannah.
Savannah.
you gotta talk.
Oh,
hey.
This is a podcast.
She waved at the camera. Some people are going to get audio only. And then my co-host, Max, over here.
Hello.
He's sitting here. And my name is Crystal. He's the co-host. Or
He
you
looks-
want to be the host
He
today?
looks professional.
I don't know.
We don't know.
He looks business.
I'm just
ready.
here.
You're just here.
I'm here with questions.
Oh, he's got questions.
questions.
Do you guys have answers?
Interrogated. I don't know.
I
Do
hope
we?
so.
We need like a big spotlight.
No, I'm excited because I feel like so many times in like your guys' YouTube videos and also in ours, you get just like the fun little things that are happening here and there, but you don't get the really behind the scenes, like
Whole
what
story.
is going on and what you guys are going through. And I don't know, just kind of some of the stuff that has happened recently. I'm excited to hear your perspective on it and kind of hear what you guys have been through.
It's definitely a fun one.
All right, we're going to start right at the beginning, I guess. Like, what? So, for those of you who don't know them, they met over Instagram.
She
And
slid into my
Savannah,
DMs.
Savannah flew out here last Thanksgiving, so it's almost been a
Oh,
year.
dang, yeah, we are coming up on a year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
November 23rd.
And I thought it was crazy. She flew across she's from New York and we're from Arizona, so she flew all the way over here by herself.
Was
to
your
meet
mom
this
like?
crazy family?
Was your mom like almost didn't let you?
Well, she was like, okay, I can't really stop you because you are over 18. So, like, you're going to do what you want to do anyway. The only thing that she was like, the only thing I can do is support you. And she was kind of freaking out at first. And she was like, maybe I should just go with you and I just fly with you and then I'll just stay in a
'Cause
hotel.
if I told her I was flying across the country, she'd have like a heart attack
I
or a
would-
panic
I would
or
not.
something.
I
Yeah, she
literally
wouldn't allow me.
offered to go to New York, and Mom said no.
Yeah, Alex was like, I want to
I
fly
don't
to New
blame
York
you.
and meet this girl. And I was like, no.
She was like, no. She,
like-
she straight up shot it down. I was like, okay.
I was like, what if she's a serial killer?
Yeah,
You don't know.
that was her-
I
that
did.
was
That was my
literally her
response.
reason.
I was scared. So I'm sure your mom was terrified, but I think it's so amazing that she supported your decision to do that. So what were your thoughts as you got on the plane?
I was freaking out. I was like, am I really going to do this? I didn't have any doubts about, like, coming out here. I wasn't going to be like, no, I'm not going to come out, like, last second. Like, I was like, this is going to happen. It's either going to go really good or it's not. And that was, like, just, like, my mentality. It was, if it was going to happen and it was going to be great, like, we're going to, like, continue our relationship. If not, we'd go back to New York and that's
One
it.
thing that's nice is, didn't you work at the airline there? So
Yeah.
you got like free flights sometimes, or
Some discounted flights,
Discounted?
not free flights, but yeah. But that's why I was flying out so often. So after it did go really good, I was like, he was like, when are you coming back? I was like, I'm going to be here in 2 weeks, if that's okay. I want to make sure it was okay first because I didn't want them to be like, she just keeps coming back. But it was good, so I kept flying out. And I think in December I was out here like 6 times.
She was out here a lot.
It was a lot. I had like assumed you had moved here. No, I loved it. What was your first impression of the family?
I was like, I really did like everyone. Like, since I came out here, I felt comfortable. Everybody made me feel comfortable. It was just so many people.
chaos?
Yeah, I get really bad anxiety, so I was like, I didn't know like what to think.
And you came to a Thanksgiving, so all of the family, the
Yeah.
crazy middles, all of us, the crazy pieces were there. Like
You met everyone
you
off the
met
bat.
everybody
Off
that
the bat.
first. So I'm sure that
We
felt.
have like a bull
overwhelming.
ride there, so it was
Yeah.
like
Oh my
there was
gosh.
bull rides. There was like
Bouncy
30
houses.
children running around. Like that was probably chaotic.
So
Were
the
you like,
funniest
"What is
thing was when I was driving up to the house, I pointed to the house. I was like, "That's where I live. That's the house." And
We
she
were
was
on
like,
the freeway.
"Yeah." She was like, "No, no, it's not." Like she just was like, "No, you're messing around."
I
And
was
then I
like,
go
"He's
up
trying
to
to
the
flex.
gate.
He's just
Yeah,
trying
I
to
go up
flex
to
on
the
me."
gate. I put in the code, and she's like, "Wait a minute, you too?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, okay," and just started freaking out even more. I'm like, "What? What?" It was just funny. And then we walk in, and just a horde of kids just pile out of the
Horde
house.
of kids.
I feel like the kids get so excited when anyone brings anybody over that they're like dating or whatnot.
They
And
have
so
to
it
know.
can kind of feel overwhelming with so many different people. And did you feel overwhelmed at all?
I mean, I guess a little bit. I felt a little bit overwhelmed because like these are just so like new people. Like anybody who I've been with, like hanging out with or whatever, it's just I stay with the same group. So it's not like I've ever like expanded on hanging out with new people. So not only was I meeting new people, it was a lot of new people, and I was like freaking out a little bit. But I think it went great. So
I think it went amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, question with that. I know you didn't know about like our YouTube and all of that prior to all of this, but did you watch a few episodes or did you watch something right before you flew out or like sometime in there just to kind of know who you were meeting?
I
Make
didn't
sure we weren't
watch
serial killers?
yours. Watched Alex's. I watched like one or two maybe. He was like, "Oh, I'm filming today," and I was like, "What are you filming?" And then he would just be like, "Oh, I'm just filming something with my mom." And then I would just like watch like one or two. But I was like, the thing is, a lot of people are like, "Oh, she's a fan. She's this. She's that," because he has a YouTube channel. And I've said this in his videos, but in New York, everybody thinks they're famous. Everybody thinks they're YouTubers. Everybody thinks they're like music artists and everything. So when he was like, "Oh, I have a YouTube channel," I'm like, "Okay, like that's cool." But he's from no offense, but he's from Arizona. I was like, "Okay," and he's also my age. So I'm like nobody's really successful at my age with a YouTube channel. Like I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
So it was like I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
So-
And how extreme
Yeah.
it
I guess
can
when you
be.
meet them, it doesn't feel like they're famous or
Yeah.
not like famous, but like it doesn't feel like I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't feel like
Like we just feel like normal
yeah,
people.
it's like
And our
being a
world
normal
feels
person,
normal,
yeah.
but I realize when outsiders come in sometimes and like we're meeting new people, it feels, or people have watched our videos and they feel like they know us personally. And then they forget sometimes they're just like having a conversation with me and they're forgetting that I don't know who they are though. And that's why I love to hear their stories and about people and all of that. But it's like, it's just this different world. And so I wondered what it felt like from an outside perspective on that.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting because he was like, "Do you mind if we film?" And I'm like, "Okay." Like I didn't know, and then like I get here and I'm like, "Oh, there are actually like cameras. People are actually filming this." So I was like, "Okay," but it wouldn't. It just felt like normal.
And Aurora instantly loved you.
Yeah.
Like she just ran and
Aurora
hugged
loves
you. She
everyone.
was holding your
Aurora does
hand.
love
Like
me.
it was so sweet. There were sweet moments in there. Okay, so let's go on to the next though, because once you're in this like world and it was public, it
There's
got a
making it
little
out.
crazy for a little bit because I feel like we have some viewers out there that do a lot of background searching and just a lot
Yeah.
of craziness.
It's just extreme.
It
Like,
is
there's-
extreme. Sometimes it's really invasive.
It's good to have privacy, and that's why we don't share every single little detail, because we're humans too. We want to live our own lives. We want to have our own privacy. So for them to take it in their own hand and try to investigate, it's kind of weird and it's creepy and it's very invasive. And it's just kind of disrespectful at points because, like, if it's something that you don't want brought up and then they bring it out of the dark just so they can, I guess, have a little fame or drama that they want, it sucks sometimes because it's like, I wasn't ready to tell them that, or I wasn't ready for this. And then it's just out there.
That's a really good
Yeah.
point. So I think a lot of people assume that because we are public and because we do film like on a daily basis, that everything is out there and that we share everything in our lives and they know every little detail about us. And that's just not the truth because there's a lot that goes on in the back end. There's a lot of things that either kids or this or that want to keep private. And so I think with that, it's hard when people investigate and figure things out that sometimes we don't even know about ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of on to our next thing. So when we went to Disney World. We went on a Florida trip when we were adopting our 3 children, and Savannah came along with us, and I was super excited for her to be on that trip. And on the way back, she found out some information about herself that she didn't even know. Go ahead and share that story with us.
So I found out recently. So people in March, we were driving back, and I kept reading like these comments that people were just DMing me, or they would like comment on Alex's YouTube channel, and they'd be like, "Oh, she's not who she says she is," and I was like, "But I've literally given like I've shown you everything I am. So they
He had
were,
met your mom and your
yeah,
brothers at that
and
point.
he met my family, and it was just crazy to me. So we're in the car driving back from Florida, and I read something. It was like she has a PPP loan, and I was like, first off, I don't even know what that is, but I kept reading that same comment, and I was kind of like, what's going on here? So I actually searched myself because I didn't know that, and I don't just search myself on a
Googles
normal
themselves on a regular basis.
on a regular basis. But it turns out I actually did have a fraudulent loan, and I opened up, apparently, I opened up a laundromat. And that was absolutely not true. And I didn't even know about it, and I found out about it a year later because apparently it happened in April of 2021. And yeah, I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, I started seeing that comment too, and I was like, "Do you own a laundromat?" And I remember you started crying, and you were like, "No, I don't own a laundromat. I don't know what this is. Like, I'm trying to figure it out." And then I know a few weeks later you would come over and you explained what actually happened.
Yeah.
So, what actually happens? Because you kind of do own a laundromat.
Apparently, I do own a laundromat, and my ex-boyfriend had taken out the loan in my name, and he opened up a so-called laundromat. But I got in touch with like lawyers, and I got in touch with the loan company, I guess it is, and yeah, so it was not me. I did
That
not.
is crazy.
And the laundromat actually doesn't even exist, which is the even more.
Yeah, well, I was like, when we go to
part.
New York, let's find this laundromat,
Yeah.
but it doesn't exist.
It does not exist. It doesn't have like an actual address. It just has like a city in Queens, which is where I live, and there's no
Only, like,
address
one
for it.
employee.
It shows one employer, and it's not me. So
So there
And,
is
yeah.
a fraud loan out there that she
my
did
name.
not do in
and
her
it was
name
a lot of money. It was like $17,000, like
for the PPP
for
loan.
the PPP loan.
Yeah, and they took out a
I don't even
loan.
know how to take out a loan.
Yeah. So if someone can find this laundromat, we don't even know where it is.
Yeah.
or-
And also more clarity on that. It's also because it was done, like it showed that it was done during COVID times. And in COVID, like during that whole time, like nobody was in person. Everything was online. People were like taking out loans. People were doing like all the fraud and all that during that time. So it was some point in there, but yeah.
The thing that I guess to me what sucked was I knew it was true off the bat. Like, yeah, I kind of had suspicion. I was like, well, why does it say you have a loan out? That's kind of suspicious. But then, like, she literally broke down and started bawling. She's like, I don't want your parents to think I'm fake and I'm not who I am. And I'm just like, that's when you can tell, like, someone's being real. Like, that's, I guess, what solidified it for me. I was like, she's not a bad. Okay. I'm getting my words mixed up. I'm not ever saying that I thought you were a bad person. I just was like, it was hard because I was hearing all these.
Skepticism.
Yeah, I kept hearing all these things come in, and then I would start to question it. But then to see her like break down, and she didn't get all defensive, like, oh no, that's not me. Oh, and she could have got mad about it, but no, she just broke down, and she's like, no, I don't want your parents thinking I'm this terrible person, because I'm not, and I'm just like, yeah, like it's. She's never been fake, and she never will be. So
I thought it was awesome too when I met your mom. You and your mom are so similar. You
They
guys
are
have the same laugh. And
copy
it's,
and paste.
oh my gosh, the cutest thing to see. But I thought it was amazing when, sorry if you hear our dogs barking in the background.
They're excited.
They get excited. But no, when I met her, even she was like, I can't believe you have this loan, and I blah blah blah, and like, and your mom was so involved in it also, in helping you figure it out and getting the lawyer and all of that, you know what I mean, and just kind of figuring this whole situation out. But I really felt like your mom was just so genuine and very similar to you, and so it was just nice to actually like go to New York and see your world, and I don't know, it made me understand you more, and so I
The
love
New
that.
York accent is also.
Oh, it's
I do
so
not have a
funny.
New York accent.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
When she,
No, I
when
do
she
not.
gets upset,
Say
or
coffee.
when
Coffee?
coffee.
When she first got here, she had
She's learning
had
hers.
one.
Yeah.
I've learned.
And
I don't
when
know.
she gets upset, it really comes out. So don't piss her off. But
She has a New York attitude.
her mom does. You can hear it all the time. It's so funny.
Aw, I love that. I feel like we're rubbing off on you though, and I haven't heard it as much lately.
Yeah.
Then let's talk wedding stuff.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, do you
So-
guys have a wedding date yet?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes, they
It is
do.
October 23rd of 2023.
So I think too, with all the wedding stuff, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, it's too fast! It's so fast!" Blah blah blah. And I think in a lot of relationships, a lot of people, you're still getting to know each other, and you're still figuring everything out. And then I think when you add the public eye in on top of it, and all of the pressures, and them like researching everything about you, like one time they commented, well, they sent me like this DM, and it was a picture of you and your brother. And they were like, she's already dating another guy, and
It
blah,
was
blah, blah.
literally-
She's cheating
it was her
on
brother.
Alex. And I'm like,
People are
And the
crazy.
It
funniest
was
thing,
actually really funny because I posted something. It was like maybe a week after I came out here for the first time, but I posted something and it was just a picture of me and my brother on my Instagram story, and people they reach like so much like, oh, she's cheating on Alex. She went back to
Stories
New
get
York and is
crazy.
cheating on Alex.
The-
I'm like,
the thing
Alex
is-
has me on Instagram. You really think I'd post that? Like,
the thing is, I met her brother too, so I automatically knew who it was. He was down in the valley one of the first weeks she came out. So they both went to the airport together and kind of flew home together. So I got to meet him there. And so when they started doing that, it was just funny at that point because it's like, you guys sound ridiculous because.
and I feel like another thing is like they reach so much because there's stuff that like we've talked about, but we don't get into detail on it. So they make their own like narrative, and I was in New York this one time, and they're like, "Oh, she was with a guy named Mike that she was dating." Like, I never dated a guy named Mike. I don't even know any Mikes. So I'm like, there you go, reaching again. But
I think that's crazy. Oh my gosh, the rumors that I've even heard that people make up about us. One of the craziest ones. This one I laughed so hard because it was really funny to me. But someone said that we switched
yeah.
one of our kids out. So Liam, our younger son that we just adopted a few months ago, once they could see him on camera, he looked different than what they thought he would look like.
called a
And
haircut.
so yeah, he just got a haircut. He came with such long hair and it was cut. But everyone said that I switched him out for a paid actor. And I was like, this is our family and our daily lives. Like, you can't just switch children out. That's not how life
I'm
works.
trying to think of someone who would even like why would you pay
Why would you pay an actor to come in to look like they're in your family? I was just, I laughed and I was like, and all the kids thought it was the running joke for the long time. Like, they're like, should we do something in the next video and have Liam on my shirt with a number 2 next to it? And I was like, no, we're not messing with people. This is like, our real lives. But I
Should
just
we
thought that was
pretend
really
to give
interesting.
Liam back and say you're done for the day.
like someone paying him in the background? Yeah, that'd be funny.
Oh my gosh. So I can only imagine when you're not used to rumors and used to things being made up, how hard that can be. What do you think your biggest takeaway or lesson has been over the last year? Or even further, if you have any other life lessons that you've learned, I would love to hear them.
I don't even know. Where would I begin? If it's for like the past year, like being in this type of lifestyle, it's just don't read comments, don't listen to people because they're wrong. And for a long time, I had people on my Instagram, and it was only because I wanted them to see us together. I wanted to see how we grow as a relationship and everything, but then people would just take it too far. So I got rid of a lot of the followers that were on my account, and then, more rumors came up with that and whatever. But if there's one thing, it's don't listen to rumors, don't listen to people, because people just talk. And
I think that's been I love that because I've done that a lot where I would read comments and then I noticed as I was making my next vlog and just kind of doing about my daily thing, that comment would be in my mind. And I'm like, oh, I can't word it like that, or I can't say it like that. And then I noticed that I started being really guarded in my daily life and in what I was vlogging and what I was editing and showing and that kind of thing. And then a lot of people are like, oh, you're changing. Oh, you're different now. And I'm like, you know, at some point, like I'm still the same in my daily life. I'm still the same values and morals and all of that. But I was different in what I chose to show and chose to put out there and what I even sometimes say in the camera. And it's just been over the last like 2 months where I'm like, you know what? Like, no, like I want to be myself. I don't want to feel like I have to be guarded and I have to watch what I'm saying and I have to live by what the comments are going to say about me or like, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like you shouldn't change who you are because of outside influence. And so it's something that we've been talking a lot in our
I had a
house.
big problem with this because, like, I think one time I made like a big Oreo cake or something, and people really had a hard time with me because it was like he's playing with food, but the entire cake ended up getting eaten. So it was to me, and so later I was like, okay, so I just don't want to have anything to do with food on the vlogs or any of that because, like, people like are really weird about some of that stuff sometimes, and they're very like even if you're just like mess around or like you put cake in someone's face, like people have like a really hard time, and so you sometimes you really just have to be like,
Some of it I understand as far as if
yeah,
people are like, you know, like I don't have a lot of food in my life. And so to see playing around with food, like that kind of stuff, I
I
totally
do, yeah, I
understand.
totally understand that,
But the vlog that he's talking about, he wasn't playing with it. He just
yeah,
stacked a bunch of Oreos on the cake. All the Oreos got eaten. Like
yeah,
everyone loves
everything
Oreos in our
was eaten in
house.
that vlog, but
But yeah, Max is like, don't show me with any food. And so we didn't for a long time. But
yeah,
then we had that conversation. Like, you need to be yourself. Like, it's so important. I think our world has really come to judging other people. And if someone doesn't agree with your opinion, then you're a bad person. But it's so not the case. Like, we're each individual. We have our own opinions, our own, you know, thoughts. And that's what makes us unique and special. And that's what makes us us. And I just really think that everyone should be themselves. So if you're struggling with that out there, or, you know, someone in your life is judging you for who you are, like, just stay true to yourself because that's really what matters in the end.
Yeah. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's also like no matter what you say or do, you're never gonna satisfy that person.
oh
If
yeah,
they're just always angry, you're never gonna satisfy them. I saw myself doing that. They would criticize what we did with our puppy and like what like Savannah would do. And there was one point where I was so tempted to just take her completely out of the vlog so that they wouldn't have a problem with that. But she's a part of my life, and so not having her in there just felt like a piece was missing. And then when I did or like would show her less, they'd get mad about me taking her out, and it's like they're never
and
satisfied.
it's like you're trying to hide
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Or if you do what they say, then they switch the narrative and say that we're doing something wrong.
Like
It's
you didn't do this.
There's never
or-
satisfying.
they're never
them. That's-
satisfied. You could literally
Yeah,
give a homeless man $100 and they'd be like, "Wow, only $100." Like it's like
Yeah.
no matter what you do, whether it's good or bad, it's a problem. And so
yep. It's never enough. Never
yeah, it's
good
never enough. So I got to a point where I was just like, it's never gonna satisfy them. So there's no trying to please them, because at the end of the day, it's really hurting me, and I'm not putting out the best content I can, or I'm just not showing my true self, and then they think, oh, he's lying about something, or oh, he's hiding something. When the case is, I'm trying to please the audience, but then they're just
And I think
making
that's a
another
big
big
reason
deal.
also why she deletes comments and we all delete comments. It's because like some of it is just like you sometimes just need to just ignore it
Yeah.
or
It's not about like
Yeah.
hiding anything. It's more like
It's more
we
like-
just don't want this
yeah.
like type of comment or like energy in our lives or like on the channel.
Right. We
Our
don't want
cha-
that negative energy.
our channel is, we try to bring happiness, and like we know there's people that work like super long hours, and at the end of the day they just want to watch YouTube or they just want to relax. And so we want our videos to like maybe even before they go to sleep just like bring a little bit of joy into their life. So when there's just constant
So if you go down to the comments and it's just a
criticism,
bunch
constant
of
negativity,
Negative.
constant,
Like,
oh,
why
you
would
guys
wanna
are
put that,
fake.
you know?
Yeah, constant like things that are trying to change people's minds about us that really aren't true. It's just it sucks, and it's like there's no balance. There's no finding balance to. What I'm trying to say is there's no pleasing anyone.
Yeah, there's
really.
no-
It-
it's-
Right.
And I feel like
never do
one
it.
thing that I've actually like I had to kind of teach myself was it's the same people commenting every single time something
Yes.
negative.
Right.
And you have to think like if you're putting out a video, everything that you're doing is not bad. You're not always wrong.
Right.
You're not always doing something
Although
bad.
they'll make you think you
But
are.
yeah, and
Yeah,
that one
get in your
person, it would be like that one person or like that one group that's like, yeah, this is wrong in this video and this is wrong in this video. But you're not always wrong. So
And then if you try to come back at them with evidence or a point, they're like, they just get mean or they get mad. They're like, huh, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's
Yeah.
just like, we're just trying to, we're just trying to
Live our lives.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I will say on the other end though too, I mean that would be like 5%. There is 95%
Yeah,
that
there
are
are
super
great people.
positive and super amazing people. And I think too a couple of things that really stuck out to me with it, but as far as like deleting negative comments, there was one comment that was from a lady, and she said, I'm currently sitting, in a homeless shelter with my 2 children, and you're the only thing that's keeping me here and keeping me going. Like your positivity and having, like, after I watch your videos or I'm a part of things, like, I'm feeling so happy afterwards. And that gets me through my day. And I was like, that's what it's about, is lifting each other up and helping each other out and being an inspiration to each other. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I will delete negative comments because I don't want her to watch our video, feel really good inside, and then go to the comment section and leave feeling bad. And so I feel like it's a really important thing to keep that, positivity and that positive energy going. But with the other thing, there's so many nice people out there, and there's
Yeah.
so many people that have supported you guys and loved you guys
So
and
many.
been a part of it all.
And we love all of you, especially the ones who are like, congrats on your marriage. Or
I love
engagement.
those comments because it's usually like the older generation that's like, oh, me and my husband have only known each other for like a week and we got married, and then
that's
we've
so
been
weird to me
together for
because it's
18
like,
years.
is there like really an age or is there
There's
really a
not.
time limit that's going to be considered okay, or will it always be too soon or too long?
The thing that
Like,
people
there's no middle
don't
ground.
realize
Yeah.
is it's a feeling. Love is a feeling. It's an emotion. It's an attachment. And so there's no pinpointing when you'll be ready. It's just when the time is right. And so you can't tell someone that you're not ready.
Yeah.
You literally can't. You can't tell someone you're too young. Because, maybe age-wise sometimes, yeah. But that's when you wait and you still grow that relationship. But
I know, because you guys are going to be engaged for almost a whole year, right?
Yeah, so you guys are going to be engaged a year and a half before getting married. So you are having
Yeah.
a little bit longer of an engagement.
yeah.
Do you guys feel like you really know each other
Yeah.
well at this point?
I feel like since we lived together, like there's nothing like that we can actually like hide from each other. And we've had so many conversations, and even before I came out here, we've been talking for like 4 months before I even came out. So I feel like that's the point where we really got to know each other, because there's nothing else, like there's no physical contact. There's no like anything
Right.
except for talking and FaceTiming and
yeah.
everything. So you can't hide.
You build
Yeah.
that
Everything,
friendship up.
that
And then like moving in like,
Yeah.
with each other is
And when it came to the point where she
everything.
came down here, it just felt natural. Like there was no awkward. There were some awkward pauses. It's just normal, but like everything flowed. And I guess that's what people don't see, even though we've said it a lot of times, is we knew each other not only 4 months prior, but we had been talking 4 months prior. It's not like she got down here and we're like, oh, let's get married. Like all we could do was talk to each other. So that's all we did, and that's how we really grew towards each other. And there were times where like I really felt like she is the one, because there were times where like we would go months without talking and something would just bring us back together, and then we just start talking again, and then there was one point where it just didn't stop. And so I guess that's what people don't see, is like we really did grow an attachment, and there really is no that's too soon, there's too early. Like people get married like a week into dating. Like it's just when you feel like your time is right. So I feel like that was one of the
Some
hardest
people
things.
already think
Well,
you're married. There's
yeah.
a small
We're
handful
not.
of people
That
who
rumor
think
started that
are
you guys were
married.
already married.
I
yeah,
know-
that was our fault.
I know we say some
We just
things
said-
like she'll
yeah.
call me her husband, I'll call her my wife, and I am wearing a ring on my ring finger, but it's more of a promise ring. She got it for me for my birthday, and it's like to symbolize like this is there until I can replace it with the real wedding band. And so So there are things where I can see that, but we've said we're not married.
not
We're
married.
not gonna hide that.
We're getting married in
I
October.
plan on doing a super cool wedding video. Like, you guys will see it. We're not trying to hide anything. We've said it plenty of times, but
So the official wedding date is October 23rd,
2023.
2023. That's a cool date.
Yeah, the 23
10,
is our
23,
number.
23.
23 is our special number. We started talking on August 23rd. She came out here November 23rd. That's also when I asked her to be my girlfriend. And so, yeah, it's a special number to us.
I love that.
That's awesome.
So children in the future. How many
Oh,
children do you guys want?
4.
We're having
And-
4.
I just want 4.
We're having
total.
4.
4. And have you guys decided like when you guys would start trying? I mean, obviously after the wedding, but
Yeah.
is there any?
I feel like one
I
or
feel
2
like
more
we'll
years.
know like when we're ready for it. I
Yeah.
feel like right now we're just like focusing on like getting married and like all that.
We have 2 fur babies. We're good.
Yeah, we got the little pugs. So we're good.
And plus, like, there's no need to rush into having kids. Like, I wanna travel the world with her. She's been to a lot of states already, and so like I kind of want to help her finish going to all the other states that she hasn't gone to. She hasn't gone to a lot on this side because she hasn't been on this side a lot. And so I kind of just want to do things with her. She is my best friend. She's my number one. So I want to still have that time with just her before we start including
Adding
kids.
little ones in there.
Yeah, because then I feel like, not all the time, but I do feel like since they become your main focus, it takes away from spending a lot of time together. And so I guess it's time to make up for the time we lost. We never got to spend together. And so, yeah, they'll come soon, 1 or 2 more years, but I just feel like right now I just want to be with her.
Fair enough.
Cool. So we've focused a lot on Savannah, but Alex,
Oh.
we have some questions for you now.
Okay.
So, what was it like growing up? Well, I don't know. A couple questions. Okay, start in going through foster care and being adopted. What was that process like for you?
It was cool. It was different. It was definitely weird and stressful because, like, it felt like I could never truly have a foundation because the next day I could leave. And so it was all about not getting too comfortable. And I feel like that was my biggest thing was there was one time where I was just in a loving house for so long and then something did happen. I got stripped from that. And then I just lost all the friends I had made and all the connections. I was back to square one where it was just me. And so it was hard, but I got through it. You know, it is what it is. But I feel like you always just have to look to the bright side. I know it might sound cliche. Oh, be positive, but you really do. Because there were some hard times. I'm telling you, there were times where I'm just like, why can't I have a family? Like that's all a boy wants, just someone he can call mom, you know? So it was hard, but I feel like I've never really felt indifferent about it. No one's really been like, "Oh, you're the adopted kid." Like I've never had a problem making friends, or it never really changed anyone's perspective on me. So it was never like a big problem. It was just
So in foster care, well, okay, so that was the whole foster care thing. So once you were adopted and you felt secure and like you knew you found your forever family, what was that transition like for you? Like, did you feel finally like, okay, I have somebody I can rely on? Or would you say in the back of your mind, you're always somewhat scared of being abandoned?
in the back of my mind, I always felt like something could happen because we were previously adopted. We literally were already adopted, and so
For those of you who don't know, so like he was in foster care, got adopted, and then got put back into foster
Yeah.
care prior to being adopted by us.
yeah. So in the back of my mind, I always had something that was like something's gonna happen. I'm gonna screw up. They're gonna screw up, and so I never got too hopeful. But I couldn't help getting attached. Everyone was just great. Max was literally my best friend. It was just him and
I'll
I.
never forget the
Yeah.
first day we met you guys.
Yeah.
We went to Legoland.
He kept
That
calling
was-
it the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, the Super Bowl,
because it was
because
at
it was
the
at the
stadium. So he
Cardinals
kept
Stadium.
saying, "We're going to the Super Bowl." It was great. But I always had that fear, but then like getting further into life, it just all went away because I knew that there was nothing was gonna happen because I was in a good home. I was in a loving home. So there was a point where it all just went away, and I never had to fear in the back of my mind that I was gonna, get placed back.
And I know we've told this story probably several times on our YouTube channel, but for new listeners,
Oh gosh.
Um,
I think I know this one.
Alex,
This one always
shortly
gets me
after
teared up.
yeah, this one always makes me cry because it's just that one defining moment that I feel like I had with you. But, well, obviously there's many, but that was the first defining
Yeah.
moment. Alex was having a really, really hard time, and they were saying that he had PTSD and whatnot. So he was just struggling, and he had thrown this huge temper tantrum and was like throwing Max's stuff away, like you name it. Like he was just a little bit, and I just paced and followed him around the house as he just, was pacing and just struggling. And at the end of this big temper tantrum, he sat down and was like, just started crying. And he was like, "You can send me back. They all do." And I remember in that moment feeling so connected to you because I felt your pain. I felt like I don't know, I just felt like I could relate somehow. And I just put my arm on his shoulder and said, "I'll love you no matter how you act." And it was almost like you could literally see this weight being lifted off of him. And you looked back over at me and you looked confused at first because you were like, "Is this lady real?"
I was like, yo, she got way too much patience. Like, what is happening?
But it was like you finally felt like, okay, like I don't have to test her. And that was the last like big temper
Yeah.
tantrum you ever, had. And I felt like from that moment on, you weren't testing. Like I felt like you were always testing in the beginning.
I feel like it always is a test once you first get there. Like I felt like you guys were testing me. Like, oh, is he gonna be a criminal or something? I don't know. But it just always felt like I had to be like, oh, one small slip up, they're gonna send me back. And so after that, it really was like, wow, this lady is something else. I was really like, what just happened?
Do you think that even carried over to when you got your tattoo and came in to show her? Do you feel like even that still?
Yeah. The thing is, I know everyone has their own opinions on them. Even I was against them for the longest time. Like I sound hypocritical because like I have one, and I used to be so against them. But then it just like I don't know what changed my mind. Maybe it was how special I guess it meant to me. It was like Josh literally got it out of nowhere, and so I was like, yo, I want that. I want to have something that deep that I could like always remember him from. And so I don't know. I know mom isn't the biggest fan of them, but I was being dramatic saying that she would like disown me and all that. But
I would never.
but there was still a fear that like she would kind of hold it against me or something because I'm like I know she doesn't like it. So there
Yeah.
was a little bit of
For those of you, just a little quick backstory. He was able to be reunited with his brother after 14 years, his biological brother, and they got matching tattoos on their arm of that date because it was
That's
very
like one of the most
special.
popular videos on our channel now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It like hit the news and
Josh,
If
stuff.
you haven't seen that
It
one, you
did hit
have
the
to
news.
go
It was
watch it.
crazy.
Yeah, it was everywhere, and it was because it was so raw and special. And I feel like in foster care, a lot of kids get split up, and a lot of families get destroyed. And so to be able to rekindle that and have that with your brother, I think is really special.
I guess what made that so nice was like I always had a fear of him not wanting anything to do with me because he didn't know me for so long. We had spent so long apart and he was growing up in his own world, his own family, that I was like, what if he really just doesn't want anything to do with me? Or like he just doesn't really know who I am, or he's just like, oh, he's just the little brother, he'll be fine. And like I was always the older brother to everyone else, so I kind of wanted my own big brother, you know?
Yeah.
So that was just, it's a moment that will forever be special.
Yeah. So in that video, he talked about that you have a younger sister.
Oh, yeah.
Where is she and why have we not met her yet?
We actually don't know. We do have a younger sister named Jessica. She's what, 13 right now? I think.
I think she's older than that. I want to
Really?
say 15,
15, 16.
maybe 16.
I don't know. But the people she lives with, since she is
She was
under 18.
adopted,
Yeah, she
yeah.
was adopted. It is their choice whether we get to see her or not because they are her legal guardians. And so that's why Josh and I haven't seen her. That's why you guys haven't seen her. Is like we just can't. They just
Yeah.
don't want us to. So
Yeah, they are choosing not for Alex to not meet her at this point. But I think someday when she's 18 or
I
when
hope so.
there's
I'd
an
like to-
adult, hopefully you
I'd
guys
like to
get
know
to
her.
reunite.
Yeah.
That would be special. All right. So, do you feel like any stuff from your past has been brought into your current relationship? Like, is there anything that you guys have had to work through from
Yeah,
either one?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and even Savannah's past or whatever. Like, it could be either.
For me, it's jealousy. I still even now even like just put past the relationship. I'm really just conscious about my stuff and I love my stuff and I don't like when people take, touch, or try to destroy my stuff. No, seriously.
Fair
And
enough.
I know she's not my property, but like she means a lot to me and so I had a
So, you're very protective.
I'm very protective and I do get very jealous at times. It does cause problems and I'm trying to work through it, but it's just something I've always dealt with. I've always been jealous of like someone having like a better RC car than me or something. I don't know. I'm like, dude, I want that. Or like a better Hot Wheels set. I don't know. I've always been a very jealous person.
So wait, to go back a little bit, because I feel like someone's gonna twist that into
Yeah,
something
okay.
that it's
Jeremy's my remote
not,
control car.
Hey, come on.
right? Alex lost a lot of stuff.
I
Like
did.
he would
Yeah.
he got these brand new
Jordan.
Sadly, that's how
Jordans.
group homes work. Like kids can just take your stuff as far as
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
So
foster homes.
the story goes, I had these Jordan's my favorite shoe brand because I had this really cool pair of Jordans as a kid. And in foster care, like your stuff means a lot because that's either you got it from someone you know or you just like, I guess, earned
That's all
it.
you have.
Yeah, it's all you have that you can call yours because everything you have to share. And there's one time I misbehaved and then they took my shoes and gave it to someone else. So I got a lot of things taken. And even in my previous home, I would get like my mattress taken, I get my bed taken, and they would take my clothes. And so I used to sleep on the floor with like a towel over me. So I got a lot of things taken. So I am very possessive of my things.
So things that were like essential, even food,
Yeah.
just different things. And so I feel like you've always kind of had like, hey, like my room, like my stuff, like
Don't touch
my,
my stuff.
my things. And so, and not that Savannah's a thing in any
Yeah, no,
way.
she's
And
not
that's something
property,
that,
she's
Yeah.
not a
no,
thing,
no,
she's not a thing.
I don't want it to be taken that
Yeah.
way at all. But I think that you're scared of losing her because you
Yeah.
love her.
And I
Yeah.
think another thing is like him being like him feeling abandoned in his past, and we did have to work on that because I told him I'm like I'm not going anywhere, and I'm gonna be with you for hard times and everything, and he's like, but that's what they all said, and they left, and I don't want him to feel like that. Like I'm here, I'm engaged to you. I mean we're engaged, so. I
Yeah.
want him to feel like he's actually secure in this relationship, and
Yeah.
I feel like that can be a struggle sometimes. So
It's just always in the back of my head, so it's
You need to
nothing
let it
that
go.
has to. I know it has nothing to do with anyone
Easier
else. It's
said than
mainly
done, I
just
guess.
know.
but-
It's so true.
yeah.
I-
It has nothing to do with anyone else. It's just me.
I think it's hard because you don't realize the things that have come back from your past until they come out in relationships.
Yeah.
And it's something in Aaron and I's relationship, like for the longest time, like I hate when people yell. Like
Yeah.
I hate it. Like if I'm mad, I usually will like whisper at people like before I
kinda
would
weird.
yell at somebody.
Yeah. It's scary sometimes.
Yeah, it's almost
'Cause she's
scarier when you
very-
whisper at
She's very
somebody.
Yeah.
calm.
So if your kids are used to you yelling, try whispering at them next time,
And
and
they'll
it
get so
actually scares them
confused.
more. It's
Because
confusing.
they're like, "Why are you not upset? Like you are, but you're just not yelling." It's
Yeah.
kind of weird. Anyway, sorry.
But there was a lot of times when Aaron came from a yelling family. His dad was in the Marines, and they're very loud, and they yell at each other, and they get mad, and it was just complete opposite. And because I had gone through an abusive stepdad who yelled a lot. And so it was a huge trigger for me. And even to this day, if Aaron like yells or like says something and it like instantly gives me anxiety, like I just have huge, a really bad anxiety or a panic attack if it's really bad. And so I feel like that's something that I'm working on from my past too. And I think that we all have stuff from our past that we need to work through and make sure that it's not affecting our current relationship. So I'm really proud of you for recognizing that about yourself and not bringing
trying.
that or trying
I'm trying.
to work on that in your current relationship and kind of, I don't know. And I think it's really good that you guys have got so much time to spend together
Yeah.
to really explore all of that and work through those things. Even prior to getting married. I mean, if you guys were married, you would still work on it too. But I think that's something that the listeners, if they're trying to get into a relationship or trying all of that, figure out those things, go to therapy, go to
Yeah.
those things that you need to heal
And it's
your
okay.
past.
It's okay to have problems. Just work through them.
Yes.
And I am trying. I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Anyway, continue.
No, you're good. All right, Savannah, is there anything, I'm not talking about your past or anything, unless you want to, you're welcome to. What?
I said, tell us. I'm just kidding.
Tell us all your secrets. I'm just kidding.
Who are you?
But is there anything like in your current relationship that you're excited for in the future? Like,
I'm excited to get married. I really feel like this is like where I'm supposed to be. Like my past was just like it was a little bit crazy. My last relationship was, abusive and like all that. So it's nice to see that this relationship is so completely different. And I'm just excited because now I actually like feel secure in our relationship. I'm excited to get married because I know like this is actually happening, and it's not just like, some crazy thought.
Would you ever move back to New York?
No.
No. Yo, that was quick.
No, New York is not for me.
The thing that was great was like, I've lived in Arizona my whole life, so I'm like, it's just Arizona. But she came down here and she absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I
She's
didn't know
like,
there
"You
was
guys have
mountains and
I'm
palm
like,
trees.
"Yeah."
I was like, I
What
thought it
is
was just
that?
like cactus and desert.
so do you both want to stay in Arizona?
Yeah.
For now.
For now,
I would like to
10
retire
years.
on a beach house somewhere by the ocean. I love the water. She loves country, so we'll see what
I do love
happens.
the country. Let's move to
She's been
Tennessee.
talking about Tennessee, yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe I have to go and see, but she's obsessed.
I love that. All right, Max, do you have any other questions for
I
them?
don't think I have any other questions.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining the Piece of Us
Thanks
podcast.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
This
I
was
Appreciate
great.
it.
This was
This
fun.
is so much fun.
This was fun.
You
This
guys
is
have to
cool.
come back.
Oh, yeah. I'll come back anytime. Just let me know.
Just let you know. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and
Thank you,
listening
guys.
to the
Listening.
Piece of Us podcast. I felt like last time we ended it with like peace because
Yeah,
it was
like
like
peace.
peace of us.
Deuces. Peace
I
out.
don't know if it sounds weird, but all right. Peace, you guys. See you later.
That was fun, guys. Let's do it again sometime.
Did you have fun? Was it as scary as you thought?
This is great. I like that. That was fun.
It's just like a conversation. I feel like it doesn't have to be like that, I don't know. Sometimes YouTube videos can feel like
You have to only say certain